close to being a true story. But that's the nature of the game right now. It's more so about free agency, the business side of basketball, than it is the real game. So nothing's far-fetched when it comes to the stories and headlines and clicks. But what should be about the game is getting farther and farther away from the real game.
Is it interesting to see at least people talking about whether that's going to happen? So many teams maneuvering essentially around you guys?
It's not interesting. I mean, because you turn on TV, you turn on anything that has to do with basketball, it's less about the game, more about this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And as a pure basketball player, pure fan of the game, at this point, it's pretty sickening.
How much of it's good? How much of it's bad?
It's all.
The NBA is the most popular.
Yeah, but I mean, we understand you want to grow the business of the game. We understand that. LeBron James is the biggest name in basketball, and for the last 2 years, everybody been wondering where he's going to go and if he's unhappy in Cleveland. So I understand that part. It's fun to see that suspense, but we're just getting away from the real game. We're getting away from what really matters, and that's just playing ball and getting better and enjoying the game. So more so people enjoy that type of stuff in basketball, and I get it. And it's also going to just make our game bigger, but I don't know if we want to grow it that way. You know what I mean? I get it, though. I get it.
What was the first thing that went through your mind when you saw that?
But, in this league, just like a couple years ago, me coming here, nobody would have thought that. So it's part of me as a basketball player that's just like, let's just worry about basketball. And then on the other side, we know this is business as well, and a lot of crazy things have happened since I've been in the league. And even when years in the future, it's going to be even crazier things that's going to happen. So I just want people to enjoy what really goes on in between the lines.
Number one, the level of revisionism going on about the Isaiah Kyrie trade is crazy, because I was on an island when it happened saying I kind of like this deal for Boston. Like everyone, the Cavs swindled Boston. What a great deal for the Cavs. And now Isaiah's broken and everyone hates the trade all of a sudden. I don't think that's fair. Number two, if you could tell me a player, and there may be one, that they could get for the Nets pick and Tristan Thompson, so you don't give up Kevin Love. You keep Kevin Love, you trade the Nets pick, and you get a big-time player, they would listen to that. I just don't know who it would be. They thought it might be Paul George. He's off the table. They thought it might be Boogie. He is very sadly off the table. The only name I could really come up with is Marc Gasol, and I don't think the Grizzlies would do that.
Do we know if they're aggressive in making trades or trying to make a trade?
They're making calls, and I think their pick is available.
Woj went on the ESPN broadcast last night, and what he said is that they are definitely making calls, and they are kind of waiting to see how things shake out in the next 6 or 7 days. But Woj says that the Brooklyn pick is, quote, off the table, and that there are certain other things they're only willing to do.
This is what I look at. I go back to like 1998 when everything was going on with the Chicago Bulls. When that team broke up, MJ still could have been a part of that franchise. And we see what happened to that franchise when he retired. They haven't done anything since he left. And we know what happened when LeBron left the first time in Cleveland. You don't want that to happen to your franchise again. You have to do everything in your power to keep this guy happy and have him consider staying in Cleveland.
But to me, I mean, it's funny. Yes, is he staying, will he going? That's a huge story. But I want to reel it back just to this year. He's in Cleveland right now. You have one of the greatest players of all time on your team right now, and as we saw from the first half of the season, he's still playing at somewhat of an MVP level. To me, just even worrying about this and putting in some significant assets to maximize this is worth it, because whatever you set up for the next 3 or 4 years, Tracy, you can tell people getting to the finals is no small thing. It is something you should want for your franchise. I'm not giving him a hit. He loves talking about how that he knows the value of this, right?
Well, and I look at it from this perspective, like, I don't know if there's any moves out there they can make that will put them over the edge to compete against Golden State.
But that's not to me, that is the problem, right? So you can sit here and say, hey, there's nothing out there that's going to have them beat the Warriors. Yeah, that is probably true. That is probably true from the moment KD joined that team. My point is, beating the Warriors cannot be the only standard of success, because you have 28 other teams in the NBA who would love to make the NBA Finals, and you would have Cleveland, if LeBron leaves from this point on, who, as you say, Chicago hasn't found another Michael Jordan. Milwaukee has Giannis now, and we still don't know completely what he's going to be. We have a feeling. They've been waiting a long time for another Kareem, right? So you have him now. Let us forget from July on. Now, I don't think the only standard can be like, if we can't beat the Warriors, throw the year out.
So before the show, we were talking about fake trades. One of the trades you pitched was, would you do Kevin Love for C.J. McCollum or Kevin Love and a pick for? I don't think exchanging Kevin Love for C.J. McCollum moves the needle at all, even against Boston or Toronto, whoever else.
By the way, we
you
should
think.
credit, but that's not my trade. That was
Well,
Brian Windhorst came out.
It's in the ether. The other one, you pitched IT and JR to the Hornets with some pick, probably Cleveland's pick, for Kemba and Batum. Now that helps them. That helps them in the East. I don't know that Charlotte is doing that for just the Cavs pick. I don't know that even the salary relief is like, this is really hard. That's a good trade. That's a smart trade. That may thread the needle. That's hard. It's just hard to find a workable deal.
So I want to get to the Mirotic trade that did happen, but I want to ask you real quick. Bob Myers is supposed to address all of this.
Have fun, Bob.
Right, at 3:30 this afternoon. Bob is your longtime agent. You know him. Bob has to clean up the fact that this story says, maybe the Warriors will get rid of Klay Thompson and Andre Iguodala. What do you think he's about to say?
I don't know what he's going to say, but I'm sure as professional, he will. He's a very intelligent GM. He will clean this up and make it seem like, this didn't come out of their house.
Right.
It will
That's the key, right?
Right.
The
That's the key to make sure to let people know this didn't come from us.
The NBA.